Hello. So I am just so happy to be finally doing a makeup look for all of you. Rakhi is right tomorrow, and I am so happy to have created this beautiful, colorful, yet wearable and super glam look for you guys, and I hope it just gives you some inspiration on what to wear and what to do in terms of your makeup and jewelry for Rakhi tomorrow. And this just speaks festivals and festivities to me. Just a little pop of color, but nothing over the top. It is still very, very wearable, and I promise you all the tips and tricks that are there in this video, it will just make sure that your makeup base looks super glowy and yet stays throughout the day. So do not forget to watch the whole video for a lot of tips and tricks. And before we get into the video, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, please make sure that you like and also turn on the notification bell so you are notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, without further blabbering, let's quickly get into the video. So to begin with, let me tell you what I have in my brows. So to set those brow hair, I use the Patrick Ta clear shaping wax, which looks like this. And to fill in those brows, I use the ABH Brow Powder Duo, and you get 2 shades in one. I use the lighter one. We are going to be doing the eye first. I absolutely always love to do my eyes first. The reason being because it just makes sure that your base, when you do it, it looks absolutely flawless. If there's any fallout from the eyeshadow, that's just taken care of right in the beginning. For my eyes, I'm super excited to show you. I'm going to be using this McGrath palette. It is just so gorgeous. I've never used this before, but it is too beautiful to resist. I already have one eye on, and now we're going to focus on this eye, and I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful smoky and shimmery eye. So it's going to be a cut crease, but I'll make it very easy for you. But if you do not want to do a cut crease, follow my Instagram, and I'm going to show you some super easy and quick looks for Rakhi that you can do without having to get into all that cut crease situation. Just always remember, any good eye really starts with having a good eye base. I am going to use this Makeup by Mario palette. This is the Master Mattes palette, and I am dipping into this shade right here, which is called Matte 4. It's a very beautiful transition color, and I'm going to use my MAC 217S. This is my absolute favorite brush, and I probably have 4 to 5 of them. It is how much I love it. To make sure that I'm setting my eye base along, and we're done with this. I know you can hardly even see this shadow, but this was just a preparatory step to get into the darker shades. So we have these 2 brown shades here. This one is called Nocturne, and I am also going to be using this one, which is called Electric. So now I am using a Pro Art AE25 brush, and once again I'm going to deposit the color right into the crease. But with this darker shade, I'm only going to go up till the half of the eye, because I do not want the darkest shade all the way inside, because that can make your eye look very, very small, and that is never the goal, right? And making like a small semicircle here. Look at that beautiful pigment right there. Now taking another MAC 217 and the lighter brown shade onto the side of the brush. Now I'm going to try to kind of blend the first and the second shade together, and I'm going to use this shade right in between the first and the second shade, and this shade is going right towards the inner corner as well to define the inner part of the eye. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go into the first shade again. I am going to focus this shade now majorly towards the inner part, and then I am going to buff out the edges of the shade right in between, called Electric. Now taking the darkest shade, making sure that I'm happy with the pigment, and also lightly packing it towards the outer 1/4 of the eye. Now for my cut crease, I am using the same eye base but in a lighter color. This one is Rumour 01. This is almost white, and the reason that I'm using a lighter shade here is I want the colors, the shimmers that I'm going to be choosing for this eye look to be very, very true to their color as they look in the pan here, and that is why it just makes the process very, very easy when you take a lighter base. Okay, so now to begin with, what we're going to basically do is we're going to look into the mirror, and this hood that you can see, if I see my natural crease, it is about here, but the hood is quite high, and if I just use my natural crease, this part of the shadow will not be visible when I open my eye. So therefore I am going to use the natural hood that's there. You can just feel your hood by pressing right underneath this bone that you have, and what we're going to do is we're going to just press and stamp this eye base there, and then this can just give you a guide on where to have that crease, and then we will just keep stamping the base till the front. And for this open, I'm not going to take it all the way towards the inner corner. I'm just going to keep this part open. And now that we have that guide, all you have to do is fill this part in. See, that was so quick. Just making sure that my eye base is saturated enough. So we are using these two shades in the palette, and these are called Heavenly Body and Citrine Envy, and we're going to use these two shimmers for our eyelid, and I'm going to start with the green one, and I'm going to take a flat brush just like this one and tap it unless we have the eye base absolutely kind of covered in the shimmer. I have not taken any setting spray, anything of that sort, because the wet base itself would just grab onto the shimmer. The brush is absolutely dry here, and we're done. To even increase that pigment, what you can do is you can just swipe, but this thing is only and only possible after that wetness of the base is covered with eyeshadow. And after this, we are dipping into the pink shade on another flat brush. So pretty. And can you see, it just really looks like, you know, a brown shade stopped and the green shimmer started. We do not want that, and therefore I'm just going to take the same brush with which I took that dark brown color earlier and lightly again stamp it on where the green shimmer begins. And we are done. Now we'll quickly pop on lashes on this eye and be right back. So we have the lashes on, but we are still nowhere near done with the eyes because we do have some finishing touches still left, and that we'll all do after the face is done. So let's quickly just jazz up this face. You really want your skin to look absolutely juicy with your skincare and primers, and only then can your makeup look extremely beautiful and natural. And to start with, I'm going to be using two primers here because I am extremely dry, and therefore, and I still do have certain pores here which I want them gone. So for that, I am using my Smashbox Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer, and I'm just going to take a very small dot, just about this much, and I am going to use it to fill in my pores, which the major concern areas are around here and on the chin, and just whatever is left goes on the forehead, and this would help minimize any fine lines. I am going to use another primer, Smashbox. This is called Halo. This is a Plumping Dew Hyaluronic Acid Illuminating Moisturizer and Primer, and I'm going to use it as a primer. And this is extremely beautiful and glowy. Can you see that glow peeking through? And that is what just makes your makeup look like skin. To prep my under eyes, I am using this under eye cream, Innisfree Green Tea Seed Eye Cream. This is a super rich and hydrating cream, and that is all that I'm going to use. And this particular step would really help in your concealer not creasing a lot and also not looking extremely cakey, because if your under eyes are not well moisturized, that is majorly what makes your under eyes crease and the concealer starts cracking. It just really helps with that. So I'm just going to let it sit for a little while before I And now it is time for color correction. These dark circles really need to go away. And I'm using my most trusted LA Girl Pro Conceal. Now I have a lot of brothers, and therefore Rakhi for me is like a whole day affair. I know for a lot of people it's like just the mornings or probably just the evenings, but for me it is usually a whole day because I have so many brothers. At my paternal side, we only have boys. All my chachus only have boys, and I am the only sister after probably 7 generations. I know it sounds crazy, but it is. I'm just so grateful for it because that just kind of makes sure that I am supremely pampered, and I love that. So my youngest Chachu does have another daughter, and she is very young. So I am like the only one, almost my brother's age. So it just kind of feels really nice. And a lot of my brothers also stay out of town for work, for studies, or something of the other. And therefore, they all kind of come here for Rakhi, and that just kind of makes it extra special for me. I know this looks scary at the moment, but you really don't need to be worried. We would be covering all of that up with concealers. I am using this full coverage Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place makeup. Okay, take about 2 pumps, and I am adding my MAC strobe cream in the variant Pink Light, and I'm just going to shake it well and add it to this foundation. And what this would do is it would make sure I need lesser amount of foundation, and also that the foundation looks extremely glowy. And I'm just kind of making a concoction of the two here. I am using this one by Morphe and tapping it into the skin. For my concealer, I am using my Dior Forever Skin Correct. This is my exact match, so this would help me cover these bags right here. Can you see how beautifully this matches me? And this is such a beautiful concealer. I'm going to use this one by Sigma. This is the Precision Round 82 brush itself, and just tap it in. Okay, so we have the concealer all blended out, but now to brighten the face a tiny bit, I am going to use another concealer, and this one is by Tarte, and this is the Ultra Creamy Shape Tape, and I love it. This is in the shade Light Medium. And now to brighten my under eyes, that is it. I know that seems like a lot, but that is how much we would need to brighten the face. And so basically on the high points of the face and the under eyes. So we have the face all done, and now it is time to set those under eyes. I am going to use this ABH banana powder, and I also wanted to tell you guys that I now have a code with Anastasia India. I'm going to mention the code right here, and you can get an additional 20% off on Anastasia Beverly Hills products on the Bodice app. And this powder is so good, and you get an additional 20% off, and you already get it for such a great price on Bodice app that you should definitely give this one a try. And now I'm going to use my Tati Blendiful, and I'm taking this much and making sure it is evenly spread out onto the puff, and then again taking my sponge. So just pressing the powder into the skin just ensures that you lock in that concealer and it doesn't go anywhere. Now from the other side, I am just going to lightly press this into the skin a little more, and look at that beautiful perfectly set under eyes. So to bronze up my face, I'm using this Nudies all over face color. This is in the shade Bondi Bay, and I'm going to place it very high up on the cheek and just pressing. So we're all sculpted, and I'm using this GLAM blush in the shade Love Cake. This is a beautiful shade, and the applicator especially just has my heart. Now I'm going to apply one by one, and I'm using the same sponge. And now it is time for some liquid glow, and for that we are going to use this Rare Beauty liquid luminizer. This is the one. Look at that beautiful shade. This one is called Enchant. And now again, what I am going to do is I'm going to take it at the back of my hand, and using the same sponge, just the other side, just evenly distributing it. For my bronzer, I'm using this one by Glowish. I am in the shade 03 Tan Light, and this is so pretty and just looks very, very natural. And this you could really just directly apply it even when you have a fresh face of foundation and you've not set it. Even though this is a powder, you can truly just apply it without having to set your face, and it just looks very natural. Okay, now for my blush, I am going to use this one by MAC. This one is in the shade Floor Power. And how do you guys like the look as of now? I absolutely love it. And with this white kurta, it just looks beautiful. Just a little pop of color on the eyes, and then the rest of it is pretty neutral. And now for the highlight, I'm just going to use a tad bit of highlighter. I don't need a lot of it because there's a lot of glow already peeking through. I'm just going to lightly press it right on the top of the cheek, and then I'm going to take the same sponge and press it into the skin because I don't want it to look like huge blob of highlighter. Now it's time to finish up the eyes, and to finish the eyes I'm going to use this black liquid liner, and this one is by Colourpop. Create a line all towards the inner corner so that it looks like it is your own lash line, and you can see the difference between both the eyes already. See how much of a difference that makes. It is these kind of finishing touches that just make or break your look, and these kind of touches really make your look very, very professional, and you really have to keep all of this in mind. And now on the lower lash line, I am going to use a green liner. This is by Colourpop again in the shade Catsuit. Such a beautiful green color. So I'm just dipping into this beautiful palette right here, the darkest brown that we took, and I'm going to take this on a flat brush right on the tip, making sure there's no excess, and pressing it right underneath the liner. And I am not going to go all the way inside. I am just going to keep it up till here. I am going to take this small brush and take the second brown shade from the same palette, get rid of the excess, and again just press it. For my inner corner, I'm taking this shade from the palette. This is called Galactic Glow. For my lower lashes, I'm taking my MAC Extended Play Giga Black. So it's now time to finish those lips, and for my lips I am using this Dose of Colors liquid matte lipstick in the shade Truffle. It is such a beautiful nude color. Look at that. We're now going to define it with a lip liner, and for that I'm using my Morphe Sweet Tea. Never pat your lips when you have a liquid matte lipstick on, because it can just ruin it completely. I'm just going to let it dry. So now that the mascara would definitely have dried off, I'm just going to use a spoolie. Just scrape it off, and you're like it never happened. So we are done, and I am just so happy with how this looks. Colorful yet wearable, because the rest of the face is pretty minimal, and I assure you whatever we've done, it would just stay on and it just wouldn't go anywhere. So this is what the final face looks like. So I hope you guys liked the look and you now have some inspiration for your Rakhi look tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful festival and a very, very happy Raksha Bandhan to all of you. And please do not be stressed out. Even if you do not have a brother, you are more than sufficient for yourself. I know these relationships just make any festival much more happier and much more cheerful, but please always remember, God has definitely thought of something better and something super great for all of us. I just love you all so much, and I hope you guys learned something from this video. It's just a beautiful family that we have created here. I know it's a small one yet, but I know that if I have all of your support, we can just reach great heights, and I know that we can just do so much together. So I hope you have a great festival tomorrow. Please do not forget to leave a comment down below and give this video a thumbs up. It would just mean the absolute world to me, and I would see you guys in my next one. I love you all so much if I haven't said that already, and a very, very happy Raksha Bandhan to all of you.